Hello everyone and welcome to the Action Figure-atorium. My name is Mark Major. I'm a real big toy collector here in Southeast Portland. And one of the things that I like to do is follow the sort of industry news. And one of the things that I have been following is the bankruptcy, yes, the bankruptcy of Diamond Comics Distribution, but also Diamond Select Toys. And I am a fan of the Mini-Mates line, which is owned by Diamond Select. Other people like some of their other lines like Marvel Select. I know that that's kind of a fan favorite. So I wanted to keep following this and keep people updated on what is going on with this bankruptcy as it pertains to my guys, the Mini-Mates, the Diamond Selects. But we're also going to talk about some of the other business assets because some of the stuff is kind of interesting, kind of worth talking about. But the main thing is that during the filings for all of these dockets in the court case and all of the articles that have been written on this, is I have actually come to learn quite a bit about some of these companies and some things that I did not know. And so I thought today, since we're on kind of the final rampway of this, this bankruptcy proceeding, today might be a good day to just stop, do some reflection, and kind of take everything back in and get caught up on where we're at. So, treat this like it's a Slayer concert, people. Come together, strap on the leather, hold on tight. All right, we're going to get caught up on the first item of business that some of you may or may not know. This is not one single bankruptcy, although it's kind of being treated as one. It's actually 4 separate businesses that filed bankruptcy. They're part of this sort of conglomerate of Diamond Comics Distribution. So Diamond Comics is in there, number 1. Diamond Select Toys filed bankruptcy. Then a company called Comic Exporters, I believe their name, and another company called Comic Holdings. Now, Comic Exporters, Comic Holdings, those are UK distribution companies. So let's kind of take those and let's sort of push them over here. We're going to get back to them in a little bit, but we're really just caring about the comic books and the toys for the most part. Now, how much is owed to these different parties? Well, that is actually kind of difficult to say because the number has continued to change. Initially, we saw in the filings that Diamond had selected a checkbox saying they owed $50 million, but they listed the amounts they owed to their top 30 debtors, and if you added them up, it was somewhere between 30 and 40 million. However, that is not a number that is etched in granite. Let me explain why, people. The reason why is because a lot of these companies, such as in this article here on CBR, a lot of these companies like Dynamic Forces is coming out, and although Diamond says that they owe Dynamite Forces $158,000, they're actually claiming, Dynamite Force is actually claiming that it's closer to $250,000. And we're seeing this with a lot of companies. They're all coming forward and they're saying, no, these prices that Diamond is listing is they're low prices, right? Also, these companies are coming out now and they're saying, look, you have dragged us into this bankruptcy. We've had to lawyer up, right? We want you to pay lawyer fees. So now we got to throw that on the fire, okay? We're getting a lot of, ringing up of the bill, as it were. Now, also in this article, check this out. Diamond's chief marketing officer embittered over unpaid wages. So we're starting to see Diamond employees, yes, who were never paid the amount of their contracts or their salaries or their wages, and they're owed back pay. They're coming forward putting in their claims. So the amount of money that Diamond owes at this point is kind of in the air, and I don't really have a number I can tell you other than to say that this is probably why they wanted to go to court with this. They really want some sort of a judge with a wand to just say blah, blah, blah and make it go away and everyone walks away and that kind of thing, right? Then there's the other end of this, people. That is the money that is owed to Diamond. What am I talking about? Well, this is something we found out that all these retail comic book stores and toy stores and whoever carries their stuff, right? Diamond has been shipping them stuff whether or not they pay, meaning they're allowing all these retail stores, these brick and mortar stores, to rack up huge bills somewhere in the amount of something like $33 million. That alone could probably get them out of bankruptcy. Why did Diamond do this? Why were they bankrolling all these people this long? Well, here's another part of the stew that you got to take into account. These retail stores are now coming forward and saying, no, these bills are not correct. They never shipped us this stuff. This stuff is all inaccurate. None of it makes sense. These bills are wrong. So again, it's hard to tell exactly what is the actual number, and it's going to take some type of a court to come in and make it a reality, and I think that that's why they're going to court. Okay, so let's get into what is kind of the fun stuff. Now, for those of you that didn't know, and I haven't covered this in like, probably a month or so. The deal is that Diamond approached a bunch of companies about selling assets, and a bunch of companies came to Diamond about buying assets. And what happened was, if they signed an NDA, they could look through the books and they could put in a bid. And we currently have 30 companies putting in bids for 11 separate business units, okay? Now, here's what's interesting, folks. Check this out. This is supposed to be a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Chapter 11 bankruptcy means when you come out of the end of the tunnel, you're a company in good standing. You're still there, you're still going, you're doing business, you don't have any debt, you're fresh, it's time to rack up more debt, okay? But if they're selling off all 11 of their business units, that means this is Chapter 7. When they're done with this, there's no company left. They've sold them all off. The guy who started Diamond Comics, Stephen Jeppy, he probably owns a piece of all these, and he's probably going to get paid money. He is probably owed money. I believe that he's actually floated some cash to Diamond, right? As a private, even though he's a owner, as like a private investor type scenario, he's probably going to get paid money, right? And he's probably just going to go to Hawaii or something. He's probably just going to take his loot and leave. So this is really a Chapter 7. These things are not really coming back. They're probably going to get bought by competitors. They're probably going to strip them of anything that's good, brands or equipment or people or skills or anything like that, and get rid of the rest, because you don't need duplicates of anything. You don't need 2 accounting offices. You don't need 2 HR offices. You don't need all these sets of offices in the first place. So these companies are going to get bought up in these bids and folded out, okay? Now the bidding is supposed to end on the 19th of March, which as of the posting of this video was yesterday, so the bid should be in, but they're not going to flip over the cards and reveal them until the 24th. So we're going to have to wait, and even then they may not tell us anything. We may get nothing from these guys until, sometime in April, when everyone is supposed to have officially, written the checks and cashed the checks and paid everyone out, and the judges, all the money gets sorted in April. So even when the 24th comes up in a few days, we may not have an answer to any of this stuff. But let's take a look at some of the assets here, and let's just kind of guess what's going on. So first of all, comic exporters, comic holdings. Those are UK distribution companies. Some people are speculating, right? In like this article, they're speculating that someone like Todd McFarlane is going to be buying those so that he can get his foot into the UK and wet his beak. I don't see what he would care, but whatever. If he does, he does. Is someone going to buy those? Yeah, someone will probably definitely buy those for the UK distribution. Why not? Probably somebody who, maybe another distribution company, maybe a company that Diamond owes money to. Then maybe that's the only way they get their money. Okay, who else is on this list? Alliance Game Distributors. Now, this has already been covered a long time ago because a Canadian company, already put in a huge bid for them of $39 million, and I don't think anyone's going to touch that, right? But if Diamond got $39 million for Alliance Game Distributors, I think that they pretty much pay off most of the garbage that they're owed. I think they just sell the rest of the stuff and then it's Hawaii time. So that's probably going to go to the Canadian company, and they're going to use that, and it's going to get folded in. It's become this huge North American kind of gaming thing, and it's going to be huge, and I see that going through. Then we have Fandom World. Fandom World is a website that sells tchotchkes. Total garbage. No one wants it. It's crap. Someone who already... Amazon. I'm going to put money on Amazon's going to buy them. Why? Because they just fold them in, and it's one less competitor and that kind of thing. Free Comic Book Day. Okay, now this is something that I don't think makes any money. It's created as a type of a loss leader marketing arm. What it is comic book companies will publish, print up comic books specifically to give away free on Free Comic Book Day, and that's it. That's all it does. There's nothing else. Someone could own the brand. There's a way to maybe you can make money with the brand. Maybe you make t-shirts or some coffee mugs or something, but I think it's... So who's going to buy that? Don't know, don't care. What else? Iron Guard Supplies. Iron Guard Supplies makes like little plastic baggies for comics and like little sleeves for Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. They make little supply stuff. Probably Amazon, buy that crap. Who would buy Diamond Comic Distributors itself? Well, maybe it's competitors, but it sounds like, what would they be getting? They'd warehouse, a bunch of disgruntled employees, a bunch of inventory that they probably don't want. The last remaining comic companies that they do distribute are just little tiny dogs. They do not have DC. They do not have Marvel. They do not have IDW. They do not have Image. They do not have Dynamite, right? They don't have any of these. These have all gone to different distributors now. So you're buying nothing. You're buying nothing, and I don't know. Maybe, wouldn't it be funny if nobody puts in a bid for Diamond Comic Distributors? Wouldn't that be funny? Diamond Book Distributors, as far as I know, is just an arm of Diamond Comics that deals with like your Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that. B. Dalton Books. Do they exist anymore? They probably don't exist. You know, those kind of shops, brick and mortar shops, and they basically get some kind of science fiction, fantasy, maybe some graphic novels. They probably get, it's like that kind of highfalutin books, though. You know, reprints of ElfQuest, I'm guessing, end up there. Who knows? So someone could buy that. Collectible Grading Authority is for sale. Those are the guys who take your comic book, put it in a piece of plastic, put a grade on it. I think that those guys are villains and highly dubious as the service they provide, but we're kind of forced to use them. They use them for action figures now. There's a channel you should check out if you've never watched it. It's called Toy Federation. It's a guy who runs a toy shop. People bring in their childhood toys, their collections. He appraises them, puts value, and then pays people half, and usually pays them cash. And a lot of times they bring in toys that have been graded, and he kind of has to abide by what the grading says. If the grading says 9.8, he's like, okay. Even though stuff, you know, G.I. Joes, the rubber bands can break in the package, it can still yellow in the package, in the thing, whatever. Go on. Someone will buy Collectible Grading Authority. I'm getting the feeling that Amazon's probably going to scoop up a lot of this stuff simply because it's kind of a competitor, not because they need it. All right, now let's get to the last two things that I think are interesting, okay? Let's talk about the interesting things. Let's talk about the toys. Diamond Select, those are my dogs. Mini Mates, Marvel Select. I think they probably have some other brands. And then there's Gentle Giant Limited. Now, here's something that I didn't know. This is where I learned something. This is something where I came in naive, came in like an idiot that I am, said some things that I probably didn't mean, things that I now have to retract, things that are probably now redacted in my old videos. But here's the deal. Gentle Giant sold off their retail arm in 2019 to Diamond Select. That is what Gentle Giant Limited is. There is another company still out there, the original company, Gentle Giant Studios. It is guys who are work for hire, who do digital sculpting. They create and craft action figures, toys, statues, right? Intellectual properties that they get hired to, and then those companies they hire to then take those and have those made. That is different than Gentle Giant Limited. Gentle Giant Limited is just a website, and essentially it's a type of a distribution at this point that sells things. Yes, they do, but they do not actually really make the things. They're really just kind of an online store at this point that sells the Gentle Giant designs, in a way you can think of it. So they're two different companies. There's two Gentle Giants out there. So the selling of this, Gentle Giant Limited, does not have anything to do with the other Gentle Giant Studios, which is a creative house, an artist house of sort of digital sculptors, right? Okay? Didn't know that. Didn't know that. And so who is going to buy Gentle Giant Limited? Maybe Amazon. Who knows? That's all I can think of. I don't know who would want. It's just a storefront, really. It's they could if they get it and they sell it, that's it. Who cares? Anyone could do that. Last thing then, Diamond Select. Who's going to buy them? Who's going to buy them out? Who's going to make the bid for them? Now, a lot of people are saying McFarlane. Maybe you've heard something. Maybe you know something. Maybe you've got a mole. Maybe you've got an inside person who's heard some things, and you think McFarlane. But I'm not putting money on McFarlane. I'm putting money on a competitor, and I'm putting it on Funko. I am going to, and if I'm wrong, I want you to come back to this video and roast me in the comments. Make it a daily thing. Have I roasted Mark yet in the comments of how wrong he was about Funko? Roast me in the comments. I would love to see it. I'll respond to every single roast if it's a good roast. In fact, best roast, maybe you win a t-shirt, a Taxman working shirt. We'll work something out. But here's what I think. Funko, they bought Mondo a few years ago, right? What did they do? They gutted it. They got rid of all the creatives who started the company, gone. They got rid of all the stuff that actually probably made money, like the vinyl records, t-shirts, the poster, gone. All that gone. Making some of the toys that they made before, the 1/6 scale Motu stuff, they're doing better versions of it now. The stuff that they were doing in like 2018, 2019, all crap. The stuff they're making now, like the Ninja Turtle stuff, way better stuff, but that's all Mondo is doing, is that kind of stuff. And Funko is the people who are in charge of them now. So they gutted them, got rid of all like the slackers, got rid of all the creatives. Now it's just a couple of guys who are just cranking out some Ninja Turtles. They're probably making money though. So I'm going to bet that Funko will buy Diamond Select. Why? Because Mini Mates is a big competitor, in my opinion, to the Funko Pops. And this is what competitors do, is they buy the nearest competitor, close them down or fold them in, take what they want, whatever, get rid of all the people, sell off the office equipment, etc. So that is what I'm thinking. I do not think it's going to be NECA. I do not think it's going to be McFarlane. I don't think the big dogs up here, I don't think the Hasbros, Mattels, I don't think they're going to make a move for it. I don't think they need it. I don't think they want it. I think they want to see it actually kind of go away. Now, it could be that maybe a foreign company wants some kind of an American presence. Maybe they've got some kind of strategy that they think if they get a hold of Diamond Select in the United States, that they can somehow bring their product in or use their product or go the other way with it. So it's possible that maybe it's someone like a Figure Arts or a Figma or a Good Smile Company or a Bon Presto or a Bandai or a Takara or, BST or Haya, or it's, somebody who could take out a loan and buy them because, they love it when companies take out loans and buy other companies. That's part of the rule of what they love. It always seems to work out that way. And it could be that one of these foreign companies loans themselves and buys Diamond Select. So if not Funko, I get the feeling that it could be somebody outside the U.S. who has an interest of getting a U.S. presence. The only other possibility is it's somebody who doesn't currently have a toy company. Maybe it might be some kind of a company like, say, Universal, right? Who wants to get a toy company and make toys with it. I don't know. If it's not a competitor buying it to shut it down, then it's somebody who really wants a presence in the toy space, who thinks that it would be a good fit, And remember, when they purchase these companies, a lot of times they're really purchasing them for the portfolio. They want to just kind of fold all these companies into their portfolio, and they can say, look at all the brands we own. If you don't know, years and years ago, a French company, L'Oreal, who makes makeup and hair products, they bought Filmation, who made the original He-Man cartoons. Why? Well, because they happen to also own a TV network in Europe, and they were looking for content to put on the TV network, and they were buying up studios that had content. So what did L'Oreal do when they bought Filmation? They took all the He-Man and the other content that they had, they brought it over and they folded it into some Hallmark garbage that they bought, who also had a whole bunch of those Hallmark movies, right? Whole bunch of content, made a big giant content portfolio out of it, closed the studio, fired everybody. 1999. Look it up, people. It's an interesting tale. I've made videos on it. Could talk hours about it. It's probably actually pretty boring if you think about it. So, that is the predictions I have for the 11 separate business units up for auction. Again, half of my guesses is Amazon, and the other half is, you know, foreign companies, Funko, etc. But who knows? What do you guys think? I'm always interested to hear alternate opinions. People always seem to know a little bit more than I do in some cases and some things, and those make for some of the most interesting. So, everybody, like and subscribe on your own time. I can't help you with that. What I can help you with is this. Stay charged.